Hi there and welcome to another Christmas Stampathon. It's the 25th of the month and we've got a new challenge for you. So this month please use unusual Christmas colours or colours that perhaps you wouldn't necessarily associate with Christmas. We thought that it would be a fun way to kind of think about your palette and think about the alternative colours rather than the typical red, gold and green type palettes or the, say, frosty colours. So please try and have a think outside the box and pick up some colours that you wouldn't normally use for Christmas. So today I'm going to be using the gorgeous Snowfront stamp set. It's the brand new one that's going to be available to customers from September onwards and available to demonstrators already. So I've had it, I've had a lovely play with it, and I really look forward to showing you the results. Then I'm using also Itty Bitty Christmas, which has a fantastic range of different greetings and sentiments that you can use for maybe gift giving. For example, if you're giving cookies to somebody, you could put "Oh what yum" on there, and then there's lots of various other greetings that can be used for your Christmas cards. So I'm going to be pairing the two of those together. Now I'm going to be just going over some gorgeous techniques with you. Basically the one where you create an ombre effect using the sponge rollers. So let's get started. I'm going to be using these colours here, and I have my sponge brayers ready. I've pre-cut my cardstock so that they're ready to stick onto a card base. And I'm just going to bring in this silicone sheet that's actually designed to be an oven liner, but I quite like using it because it protects my surface, and also I can re-pick up the ink that's gone onto it back and put it back onto my cardstock. So we're going to see how that works out. I'm going to start off with the lightest colour first, and it's this pink one here. It's Flirty Flamingo. So I'm loading my sponge brayer up, and I'll slow it down for you so you can see the movement that I'm doing. I'm rolling away from me, lifting up, and then bringing it back to the front and rolling away again. So I'm not going backwards and forwards over my ink pad. And then I start off the piece of paper, and at this point it's useful to have a piece of scrap paper because my fingers might be a little bit oily and can transfer oils onto the cardstock, so it's useful to have a scrap piece of paper there ready to protect your work. And I start off the page and I just start coming onto my cardstock and going backwards and forwards, and I get some more ink. So I'm aiming to try and not get any streaks. Okay, so I'm going to move on to, I think I'll go to Gorgeous Grape next. Now I just want to check what colour I used on this last time, on this brayer. Oh, it looks like a bluey purple, so I'll be safe. So because I'm starting off in the middle of my work this time, I can't draw it on gently. I'm actually just going to do very light rolls to start off with, and to build up the colour gently so I don't end up with a streak. And as the colour builds up, then I'm going to get a little bit more firmer in my strokes. And I'm blending the purple up into the pink a little bit, and then bringing it down. I'm going to turn the paper around now. Load my brush up. Oops. So now I want to get some green on here. It's really easy to change out the sponges. So this is Granny Apple Green, which is a really lovely, fun, zingy, fresh kind of green. And you can see immediately it adds some brightness to my card. I'm just going to blend that up and down. Okay, there we have a really fun background to do some stamping onto. Here I've got my stamping mat because we're using photopolymer stamps, so it's useful to have a little bit of a cushion underneath. And the lovely thing about this stamp set is that you can build up a bit of a scene. So here I have the scene with some trees and a bit of a hill, and you can just kind of connect them like that across your page. And then there are stamps like this which kind of just denote some grass. There's no kind of right or wrong way of doing these. I fancy having some trees in the foreground. So you can build those up. And you can do second generation stamping as well to create some depth. Then I love these little, this pair of deer. I'm standing there. And then there are lots of lovely trees, as additional trees that you can put in, even some little birds. But I think for now I'm just going to leave it as it is and move it on to the next stage. So I like to create a little bit of extra texture in the background, and you can do this really easily with your spritzer. So you just fill your spritzer with some water and you just very lightly spray some water onto there, and it starts reacting with the ink that you've laid down. I think I've overdone it a little bit there, but you can probably see it starting to react. And you can see how beautiful you get this, almost like snow fall, or almost like a snowstorm really. And if you kind of squeeze slowly, you end up with lovely blobs of water falling. Perhaps I didn't want it down there, but never mind. So that's really fun technique. So I recommend you do that before you then put your sentiment on. And just to give the impression of a freshly falling snow, get your white pencil, Stampin' Up pencil, and just colour in between the branches where there are sort of forks in the branch and where snow might have collected. And you can do some bits of snow and even do some snow across the ground a little bit there. And even you could do some on the trees as well. And remember, because it is a watercolour pencil, if you wanted to have some water just to help it along, you can dip your pencil in there. You can end up with a stronger bit of colour coming onto there. Then all that's left to do really is to do the sentiment, and I've got the Joy to the World sentiment here, and I'm going to just stamp that up here. I'm just going to hold on to that just for a few seconds to make sure that ink transfers nicely, and then we're ready for sticking it onto a card base. So this is the finished card. Sorry about the blurring earlier. Here you can see how the splats have really reacted, the water has really reacted with the background and created this really kind of lovely galaxy-like effect, which is really on trend at the moment. Perhaps I didn't really want those ones there, but never mind, it just adds to kind of the atmosphere of it all. So here are some other cards that I've made using the same technique. Here is one using Blushing Bride, then Flirty Flamingo, and then Gorgeous Grape. And here you can also see the white snow effect that I've done with a pencil. So this was using some orange in the background, again with the spritz of water, and then using early espresso in the foreground for the various images. This one is pinks again going into purples, and I had a bit of an experiment trying to see if Blackberry Bliss would work, or it may have been Rich Razzleberry, which is a different type of purple, but I don't mind it, but I think next time I'll just stick to the same purples. And here again you can see how the water mist has worked out on the back of this card, and this is the purples going into the Coastal Cabana and then into the Granny Apple Green, and then a really simple scene here using more images from that stamp set. And it just goes to show how you don't actually have to do too much stamping for it to be really effective. And then finally we have this one here, again with some splats of water, and then some using that really lovely big tree in the foreground with some other trees, and again using the white pencil for creating some snow. So thank you so much for joining me today, and do head over to the Facebook group. There are lots of inspiration to be had with the other participants and the other demonstrators taking part in this. All the links will be below in the description, and I look forward to seeing what you've been inspired to make using alternative Christmas colours and making 4 cards to go with your Christmas stash ready for Christmas. Take care for now. Bye.